Hey everyone, this is Hart and we're back with Dragon Force 2. Things are starting to get a little bit more interesting as we've got 4 nations all sort of colliding. Ours, which is Chadnor, and then we've got Highland to the south of us, Bozak to the southeast, and Izumor to the northeast. So there's a lot of sort of infighting going on. Not infighting, just fighting actually. So what I was trying to do in the last part was get my monarchs ready to move northeast to take out Kaede, who's the Izumor monarch. You could, from the position that I'm in, since I've come counterclockwise around the whole continent, you could continue going that way systematically and take out Highland next, then Bozak, and then Izumor last. But since Orvo has moved out of the castle just south of my kingdom, Kaede or Izumor suddenly has access to both sides of my territory. The northern side, which I haven't left unguarded but hasn't got any of my strongest generals, and then this edge just here, where I'm moving all of my monarchs. So, to sort of circumvent having Kaede attack my weaker generals and then having to go back and reclaim that territory, instead of going towards Highland or Bozak, I'm just going to go straight up and get rid of Izumor, even if it seems like a slightly longer way around. Okay, I think I managed to explain that. It's kind of complicated. Okay, here I'm just deciding who I want to move out, and just as I do, Kaede sends out lots of units as well. So luckily I left some units like Barley behind in that castle. Okay, so we're fighting Libby here. So I'm gonna send out Edelbach. Let's find Libby. Libby. She is a fencer, she's level 3, element water. She's a 24-year-old female human, and she's from Highland, so she's from Abert's kingdom. I've left in one of her skills just here. So this is Undine, or Undine in the Japanese. And I think this is the first battle we've seen Edelbach's flying mechanical soldiers as well. They're kind of creepy if you ask me. And we defeated and captured Libby. So then next is Kaido. And I'm gonna go against him with Bartz. So Kaido is a samurai. His element is light, his starting level is 5. He's a 40-year-old male human and he's from Izumor. He's a close friend of Gangas, apparently. Gangas is the monarch of Bozak. Ashigaru are the sort of standard units for the Izumor kingdom. They're those infantry with spears, and if I remember correctly, Ashigaru are effective against horsemen. Let me just check that. Oh no, they're good against dragons, I think. Okay, so now that I've taken out all of his... Wow, these strategy lists are really complicated. Now that I've taken out all of his soldiers, it's not that hard to take him out, the general himself. And last is Todd, who is their leader. And I'm gonna go in with Lenny. Nenny, whenever she starts a battle, says, can we not avoid such pointless fighting? Because she's quite the pacifist. Todd. Where are you, Todd? Okay, Todd, he's a fencer, or rather a warrior, I think is probably the correct? That was correct and right mixed together. The correct term, senshi. He's Earth element starts at level 9. He's a 15-year-old male human and he's from Highland. Apparently he's the son of a farmer. He lost his family in the war, or in the fighting, and decided to live a life different to farming. Okay, so now Kaede's other unit is approaching the castle that we left behind. Luckily I've got Barley left here. We've got Barley, Danpao, and Tsubaki, and they have Partial and Mitsuhide. So I'm gonna go for a little ninja on ninja action here with Tsubaki against Mitsuhide. Let's find Mitsuhide's entry. Mitsuhide. He's a ninja. His element is Earth. His starting level is 5. He's a 33-year-old male human and he's from Izumo. He escaped from Izumo and lived in secret in Gozaku. He lives in a secret valley together with Chris, Genbu, Kuzuha, Megumi, and Tsubaki. So there we go. I really like the ninjas. Ouch! I just bashed my leg. I really like the ninja skills in this game. Dagger throw is always useful because it's a cheap skill, and then what is it called? Multi-blade. Tsubaki has it. Oh, I've forgotten what it's called. Is another useful skill. Here I'm just using Danpao. Since he's a mage character, I didn't actually give him any units since I converted him, but he has 10 MP, so I might as well just use that to get rid of the enemy. So this is Aura Bomb. A little bit overkill perhaps there, but why not? The skill that I was thinking of with Tsubaki with the swords is called Triple Blade. This is Partial. He's a knight. His element is light. He starts at level 9. He's a 24-year-old male half-elf, and he's from Moon Palace, or Pale Moon in the English translation. He's the half-brother of Shine. I can't remember who Shine is. Oh, they look very similar, actually. Shine was a Fandarian Dark Knight. And he's a Light Knight from Moon Palace, even though he looks kind of evil. That's kind of strange. Okay, his element is light, and he's Shine's half-brother, but he is a criminal. He was captured once, but whilst being escorted, he escaped. He'll do anything for money, and you can't trust him at all. So that's kind of interesting. His element is light, but he gets Mandragora, which I'd always thought was an earth element. HP, I mentioned in a previous part that having high MP is generally preferable to having high HP. The only time that HP really comes into play is in a duel. In that duel that we just had between Barley and what was his name? Partial, there was never much of a risk of Barley dying because he had such a huge advantage. But if you have low HP like Lenny does, if she's ever in a duel, she tends to get knocked out very, very quickly because she'll take a lot of damage. Okay, so we're fighting Shigure, Fujimaru, and Megumi here. They're kind of Kaede's second in command, so they're very strong units. I could go in with Sanith, but since I'm working on leveling up my units, even though I have a unit disadvantage, I'm going to try to get some experience either way. And that was Meteor Storm, which is a fire elemental skill. If you remember in Dragon Force 1, that was, I believe, Reinhardt's most powerful skill. But it was a lot more overpowered in Dragon Force 1. It's not as strong in this version, and it costs a lot more MP-wise. Incidentally, Shigure starts at level 1. He's a fire samurai, and he is a 19-year-old male human from Izumo. And next we're going up against Megumi. Megumi looks a lot like Kaede in her portrait, but they are not to be confused. That was the skill Icefall, which is a water element skill which affects all enemies and the general. Megumi is a ninja. Her element is water. She starts at level 1. She's a 21-year-old female human from Izumo. And she's been a downtown friend of Kaede's for a long time. Okay, as I mentioned before, Lenny is really not very good for dueling with just because she has such pitiful HP. She tends to get knocked out very quickly, and to add insult to injury, Megumi got a lot of critical hits there, so she didn't stand much of a chance. So I'm gonna go in and try and finish off Shigure with Bartz this time. I didn't read Shigure's biography, so if I can find it in time. Shigure. He's the son of Kansuke. I think Kansuke is Kaede's like counselor, because he's like an old guy. He rebelled against his father and left the house, and taking his mother's name, he's like settled down recently. By his father's orders, he is begrudgingly serving under Kaede. Begrudgingly? Is that a word? Like reluctantly. Okay, Megumi. I'll finish reading her biography. I didn't really get to read it properly. So she was like an old friend who used to like a bickering buddy. I don't know if that's like a proper word. Someone you fight with but are friends with. That's Kaede and Megumi. Their paths have since split, but they're always friends. Okay. Which might explain why they look kind of similar, I'm not sure. Okay, and lastly we're going to fight Fujimaru.